Good evening, everybody. This is the Opinion Guy. I am Charles I. Guaria, broadcasting just minutes away from the world's most famous beach, Daytona Beach, in Daytona Beach, Florida, where today I think we hit about like 65. I don't think we reached the big 70 today, but it is a beautiful day as usual. Sun was in and out, no rain, no complaints for this time of the year. I hope it's great where you are. We have a great show planned this evening, a jam band, Jeff Summa and the Roasters. And if I say Roosters, sometimes I've been practicing all day. It's not Roosters, it's Roasters. So let's hope I get it right. Names are my thing. The lovely Donna knows the food in our refrigerator by the colors. I go, what's that green stuff? Let's have that. I'm not great with names, so we'll see how it goes. But it's Roasters, not Roosters. All righty. But his first name is Jeff, and I got that right. Before we bring Jeff Summa on to discuss all things Jeff Summa and the Roasters, I want to let you know what's happening and this week coming up. Well, as you guys know, Monday evening is our news night, and there may be something going on in Latin America we're going to talk about with Michael Voss and Joe Hanush tomorrow evening. After that, I do have, wait 1 second. After that, I do have an author on, Michael Pyle, and that's on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, Gabe Wozniak is running for Florida Senate, District number 8. And we're going to have him on to talk all things policy in Florida. So that's what we got going this week. Oh, and then on Saturday, another candidate is running here in Volusia County for Volusia County Council. And we'll be speaking with him as well. His name is Byron White. So we got all kinds of news, artists, and music for this week. It is jam-packed as always, and we got a jam band for this evening. So without further ado, I bring to you Jeff Summa. Hey Jeff, how's it going?
Hey Charles, it's going great. Thanks for having me.
All right, thanks for coming on board. Where did you dial in from?
I'm in Litchfield, Connecticut, and the rest of the band's kind of spread around Connecticut, but mostly in this area. We're in the tiny northwest corner of one of the smallest states in the country.
All right. I got a commenter before we go much further. Chris, hello, Charles. Hey, Chris, what's happening? Good to see you here. Thanks for stopping on by.
Hey, Christina.
Yeah, all righty. So listen, you know what I wanted to start out? You know what I wanted to start out with is a little bit of how the band forms. How long have you guys been together? Explain the type of music that you guys do, and how did you actually form?
Yeah, this lineup has been around for about 7 or 8 years now. I started the band about 9 years ago, but it started with a completely different lineup, and then kind of see what works and what doesn't. And then the first lineup didn't work that great, so I found some different musicians that I could, were on the same wavelength as I was and stuff. Most of them I found on Craigslist, which was pretty cool. You have to weed out a lot of weirdos and people that contact you when you post a Craigslist ad, but ultimately I narrowed it down to these guys, and they've all been in the band the whole time. We've just gone through a couple different drummers, but our current drummer Dan's been with us for like 3 or 4 years now. 4 years, I guess. So
okay, yeah, it's funny. Craigslist. Wow. I mean, I haven't heard a band. It reminds me of the days like when people would put an ad in Rolling Stone magazine, you know what I mean? And you'd find people that way for your band. Or
right.
Did they have the Village Voice up by you? Village Voice is big in Manhattan.
Oh yeah.
I'm from
yeah.
There'd be bands in there as well.
Yep. Yeah, I used to love reading the Village Voice. Get an education with that magazine.
Yes, you certainly did. Well, you mentioned the band, so let's bring them up here real quick and give us a rundown of who's who.
All right, on the left is John Blanton. He's our other guitar player. We call him the Professor. He's from Long Island, but he was living up here by me in Connecticut, and a great, really talented guy. Rob Dalheisen, our God of Thunder, and the next to John there and next to me. He's a great bass player, and we call him the Flying Dutchman. And I'm in the middle, and then Greg Marshall, our talented keyboard player, on the right, and Dan Ferrara, our drummer, on the far right.
All right. The God of Thunder. Is that a reference to Kiss by any chance?
Sure, yeah. Gotta love Kiss.
Absolutely.
Is that an Ace Frehley book behind you? There's that Ace. I
Actually,
see it.
Paul Stanley right there. Yeah.
Oh, it's Paul. Yep, I couldn't see it too
Yeah,
well.
that's Paul's first book. He has two, and that was the first one that came out. Yep. Yeah, he's in my opinion, he's the greatest frontman of all time.
Oh yeah, Kiss.
Yeah,
I've seen him about a dozen times over the years. You know, I've seen at
yes,
least 3 final tours.
yeah,
They
yeah,
always put on a great show.
yeah. Well, let's go down that road. I was hoping, what was it? Their initial goodbye tour was like 2000. I'm gonna say 2002 was their initial, and I was really hoping that they meant it because
Yeah,
if I wanted my all-time favorite band, I've been a band of theirs for like really about 50 for well, I started like I've been a band of theirs for about 45, 46 years, something like that. And
yeah,
I was really hoping that the band that I always loved since I was 12 years old, let's just put it that way, would actually stick to their word and say they're going to
right.
retire and just retire. That would have been great. And that was a great tour. Ace was still in the band, and that was a
Yeah,
great tour.
it
Yeah,
was.
that was awesome. But I've seen them too. I've seen them a bunch of times myself. Yeah, they're incredible. In fact, I saw them. The last time I saw them was only like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I think it was the year of I guess 2003. They played "Welcome to Rockville" down here in Arizona, and I
Oh
mean
yeah,
they were great. I mean, honestly, I was going to. I actually wrote a blog about this. If anyone else wants to see my blogs, chucklongisland.com/blogs. And I really thought like it was over. You know what I mean? Like I was
right.
going to go see them. And Gene Simmons kind of looks like your grandpa, being scary, and they're using backing tracks and Paul
Yeah,
is, and they admitted it. They admitted it. The Doc
yeah,
McGee admitted that they're using backing tracks, and so I was like, I'm going. But as soon as the show started, I'm totally into it. And honestly, folks, Jeff, I started crying when Rock All Night came on because I've been listening to that song since I was 12 years old. I pretty much knew I
yeah.
was not seeing him again on that tour, and like so many memories and so much. And I was just like the tears are rolling down. So I came to bury
Right.
them, but I didn't bury them. I just fell in love even
Yeah,
more. Yeah, so they're great.
yeah.
So who are you in? Who are you? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that, like, I used to love hearing them do Beth, but then when they were doing it with the backing track and stuff, I was like, I don't know, man.
I
But
know.
yeah, they always put on a great show, though. They're great performers and entertainers, and
Oh,
you're gonna
simply
get a
Will.
great show when you go see them for sure. And
Absolutely, yeah.
Ace, the Vic Steffens, the world famous producer that produced our newest album, he took over Ace's studio. He bought the studio from Ace,
Huh,
and so yeah, but this was his newer studio that we're at. But his original studio was a spinoff of it was in Ace's house that he sold, and then it became their studio where they recorded like Lita Ford and a bunch of people, Deep Purple and stuff. A lot of
right.
metal bands.
That was up in Connecticut, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So you were there.
No, well, we're at his at Vic's newer studio, but that's where he really dug in his roots and there, from Ace's house and a lot of the people I work with around in Connecticut and the guy that produced our first album, they, you know, did stuff with Ace and everything. Everybody loves Ace in Connecticut, so sorry to see
Yeah.
he's gone.
I know. That was of course a very sad moment. Yeah, it was um I know somebody. I know a writer. This is an interesting story. I know a writer, and we're gonna get to your band. I know a writer. I know a writer that is very close to Ace, and Ace. He said Ace used to always joke around about falling was going to be his undoing,
Right.
and falling became his undoing, which was. And he
Yeah.
said, it was like such a big joke between them, and it just now for the particular writer, it's no longer something he can look back at and laugh. The days afterwards, I text him and asked how he was
Right.
doing, and that's part of what his reply was. But yeah, I mean, the man just and I thought the man influenced so many people, and I thought what they did at the Kennedy Center was great when they just had the lone guitar and had it smoke. Did you see that?
Yeah. Yeah. That was cool.
That was really good, and Cheap Trick doing. I mean, they did a great job. It was really cool. So
He
who
was
else are
always
your
my
influences?
favorite. he was always my favorite Kiss member. I just love Ace. He's just a cool
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
other influences. I mean, back in my high school, I started like getting into Kiss when I was about 12 or 13. Joined the Kiss Army. You know, I had all the cool collectible stuff you used to get from the Kiss Army, and I still have a
Oh
lot
yeah.
of it. But at the right around that time in high school, I started getting into all the great metal bands like Black Sabbath, Dio, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest. You know,
Mhm.
I'd go see all those concerts of those guys. Sabbath with Dio and with Ozzy and everything, and those were some amazing shows. You know, and my first times out to live concerts and stuff. Besides some other bands like Jay Giles or members of Pink Floyd or stuff like that, but and earlier on, it was uh, really like the blues greats that I was into, you know, at a little bit younger age before I got into the metal stuff, like Muddy
Uh-huh.
Waters and all that kind of stuff. So, and then as I got older, you know, like 16, 17 or whatever, I started doing a lot of LSD, psychedelic drugs, smoking, and then I got into the whole jam band thing because it just kind of goes
Right.
along with that. So started
Yeah.
following the started following the Grateful Dead around. I ended up doing about 500 shows with the Grateful Dead and Jerry Garcia band, following them all around the country, and
Wow.
got to see like hundreds of Allman Brothers shows, Dylan, um, Crosby, Stills and Nash, Young, all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty cool to be able to see them when they're all in their heyday because people can't really go see them now.
No. So you saw about 500 Grateful Dead shows?
Yeah, all over the
Oh,
place. Yeah, from 1986 to Jerry's death in '95.
wow. That's
Yeah.
incredible. So what was it like being on the road that much?
I mean, I loved it. There was times when it was tricky or you were like in fear of getting arrested in different places and stuff. But you know, like Pittsburgh and New Jersey Turnpike and places like that were always scary. But it was an amazing time. You know, like Jerry used to liken it to the last hobo experience, like riding the train across country with
Yeah,
your hobo bag and like getting to check out different places. Like in the
maybe right about
mornings, yeah, I pretty much stay up all night partying and then go out to like a local diner for breakfast and like meet the locals and talk to people and stuff, and then I crash out for the day. But
wow, that's cool. But
go ahead.
no good.
It's just, you know, a great way to actually see, you know, the towns and places that we went to, all the different cities, and see what the people were like and the places were like besides the arena that we were in or whatever.
So I mean, you've seen all those shows, so there must have been things you were learning about how you wanted to perform when you were already playing at that point, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, didn't have a whole lot of talent at that point, but I was still, you know, starting off with guitar and all that. But just watching the main takeaway, I think that we applied to our band is watching the trade off between the crowd and the band. You know, when the band's cooking and the crowd's into it and they're dancing, and then they kind of feed back that energy to the band and makes you
Mm,
play harder and stuff. So that was a good takeaway. And then it was amazing. I mean, I used to go under the Dead's like stage and they'd have, you know, just tons of equipment under there, all kinds of recording equipment. And there's guys that were on the crew, they had like hammocks down there, they like lived under the stage, you know, and then they'd have like 9 guys and the lights and on different cameras and stuff. So I got to see like all that firsthand and
yeah.
got to hang out at the soundboard a lot with Dan Healy and like learn about all that kind of stuff. So, and then every now and then I venture into the taping section and talk to those guys, but they don't like to talk or be bothered much. So I learned to stay out of the taping section, but it was pretty cool. And then, you know, the grueling part of being on the road, we haven't really had a chance to tour like that with our band, but we're hoping
Hmm.
to. But it's, you know, it's tiresome. You see people kind of break down or get sick along the way, you know, because it just
Yeah.
takes a big toll on you, especially when you're partying and doing heavy drugs every day. It does
And
weigh
I
on
mean
you
that
after a while.
they're as famous. The Grateful Dead were as famous for that as they were actually their music. So I mean, the fans, you were doing the same thing.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I stopped partying hard after the first few years of it, right? Because it's really not
Right.
sustainable. But I would do like, an entire, like every show they play in a year, I'd maybe miss like 2 shows, like a weekend show on the West Coast that I couldn't afford to fly out to or something. But
Right.
especially 87 through like 90, I did just about every single show between Grateful Dead and Jerry Garcia band. So, and I used to get to hang out with the crew and band members in different places and stuff. So you get to see all the kind of inner workings and all the stuff that goes into that. A lot of drama and things going on.
Wow. So you got, I mean, you really got like a master's degree in what it's like behind the scenes and how to perform on stage and pretty much the whole Megillah.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I was really into their writing techniques. Robert Hunter wrote most of the lyrics to most of their songs, and
Hmm.
he's one of my favorite writers still to this day. And of course, Bob Dylan and everything. But so that kind of shaped the way that I approach writing songs, I think. And then as far as writing the music, it's kind of this same approach, kind of fitting the two pieces together. Like, Robert would write the lyrics and Jerry and the rest of the band would either fit the music to it or fit the lyrics to the music that they had already. And that's
Hmm.
kind of how I write my songs too. I'll do them usually separate. It'll be two separate things, and then I'll fit pieces of music that I wrote together with the lyrics that I wrote or something like that. So,
So there's two of you in the writing process?
no, it's just me. I write all the songs,
Oh,
but then yeah, I write all the music and the lyrics, but I do them separately. I don't always write it at the same time. So I'll be working on music pieces for a while and developing them to something that I like, and then I'll be like, "Oh, that fit great with this song that I'm writing the lyrics to, or whatever." And then sometimes, you have to tweak either the lyrics or the music a little bit to get them to fit. But basically, that's the approach. Every now and then, like that song, simple song, that country rock song that was on our latest album, I wrote that simultaneously, but all the other songs I kind of wrote in separate pieces and then put them together. So I don't know if that
and
makes
that's
sense.
no, it definitely does, and that's so you first of all, it's really intriguing because you got a lot of different influences. You mentioned Bob Dylan, Grateful Dead, Ace Frehley, so kind of across the spectrum. And if somebody listens to your music, would you say that they can hear a little bit of that in each song? Like, do you feel like that's really been something that's you kind of incorporated a little bit from each one of them and made your own way with it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I have some harder edge songs and some more mellow and then a lot of jammy tunes, so I think it's kind of an incorporation of everything. Probably not so much the really heavy metal stuff that I listen to, but more like Cream or Derek and the Dominoes, like old school metal stuff.
Right.
But yeah, I always
Yeah.
really appreciated Black Sabbath and their lyrics. And Geezer Butler wrote most of the lyrics for Sabbath, and I think he's super talented. And the way Ozzy was able to make them his own and put his style of singing onto them and everything was really amazing. Another great one that we lost this past year.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, yes, and so surprising. I mean, people who knew him said it wasn't so surprising, but they just did that big Black Sabbath reunion, right? And he died like
Yeah,
immediately after. It was really
yeah,
surprising.
yeah. That was a lot quicker than I thought because he seemed pretty damn
Right,
good at that concert. He was like in top form,
right.
really.
Amazing.
But yeah,
Yeah. Well, that's why you got to live every day. Live for the moment because you don't know how many moments you have to live.
that's right. Exactly.
Yep. Yep. Or like Paul Stanley sings, you got to live like you're on vacation.
Yeah, that's true.
One of the theme songs of my life.
Right, right. That's a good theme song.
Absolutely.
People take
So,
things awfully seriously.
heck no. So you mentioned your latest, the latest work for the band, and that's called
Yep.
"Who's Got My
I have
Lighter."
it here somewhere. Here's the album cover.
Yeah, yeah. How about
Yeah,
that? There it is.
there you go.
Woohoo!
Awesome. Yeah.
I love the
So
colors,
we
man. That is so cool. It's like such a
oh, thank
colorful.
you.
Yeah, how'd you come up with the name? Who's got my
Um,
lighter?
well, I smoke copious amounts of cannabis, so it wasn't that hard. It's
Mhm.
something you're always looking for is your lighter, and someone's always got that damn thing in their pocket or
Right.
somewhere. But on our first album that came out like 5 years ago, Open Road Ahead, I had a song called High Now on there that became kind of a cult classic with our fans and people. And I kind of wanted a cool follow up along the same lines, but different. So I was trying to come up with something, and I came up with the groove for that song first, and the music, and then I wrote the first verse, and that fit in. But then I was kind of at a stopping point, and then I came up with a hook and of Who's Got My Lighter, and tied it all in together, and then wrote the next two verses for it. So, but yeah, it's
How long does it
it
take
did
you
really.
to put how long does it take you to put a song together?
Well, it depends. I mean, just sitting down and writing it and stuff, I could do it anywhere from an hour to like months of working on it and straightening it out. Then I bring it to the band. Like about 4 or 5 songs from the album we played live for like about a year before we went into the studio and recorded them. So we're able to kind of tweak them a little bit and see what worked and didn't. And then like I'll write the songs, and then I'll present them to the band at a rehearsal, and then we'll start working on them. And all the guys write their own parts, keyboard, bass, and drums and stuff to fit into what I already wrote, and then they'll help me smooth out any rough spots and stuff, and we take it from there. And then when we went into the recording studio, we wanted to, we're like a live band, like the Grateful Dead. We do best playing live and stuff, and so we went into the studio just like 2 weekends in a row last December, December 20 or 2024, and
Okay.
and recorded all the basic backtracks, to all the songs, but we did it as a band, kind of live. And then we went in for the next 4 or 5 months and recorded all the solos and the vocals and everything over that. So, and
Okay.
then there was a couple songs that I actually finished writing the last lyrics to like an hour before I left for the studio that day. I was just like under pressure. You gotta like, I gotta finish this because I gotta sing this thing in like 2 hours from now.
I got to
So a
come up with
couple of them,
a
yeah. It's like I'd have like everything, but then sometimes it's hard to like end it or wrap up the song or and then a couple of songs were kind of, when I did go in to sing them initially, they were a little bit too wordy, and it's kind of hard to get all those lyrics out within the space, that you needed and stuff. So I did some chopping and stuff, cutting out stuff, but it ended up working out in the end, I guess. 'Cause we've had a
yeah.
lot of positive feedback for the album, and people seem to be enjoying it. So
That's also, and it charted pretty well too, right?
yeah, we hit number 19. We were on the Relics Jam Band charts for 3 months, but we peaked out on there at number 19. I mean, we're like on the charts with, right around us was like David Byrne, Neil Young, Robert Plant,
Wow.
Goose, and Fish. We're like, wow, that's pretty cool.
It really is, right?
And then, yeah, and we charted on 122 on the AMA Americana charts, and then 72 on the alternate country charts because of that one country rock tune that I wrote. I think became a pretty playable song on radio. So we were on over 200 FM stations across the country and some in Europe and stuff. We're still on a lot of stations, but I'm no
Awesome.
longer getting the radio reports, but I was for about 4 months, and get to see exactly where they're playing and what songs they're playing and stuff like that.
That's
But
so
as you
cool.
mentioned,
Royalties.
yeah, as you'd mentioned before the interview, some of them are quite long, like Who's Got My Lighters, like over 9 minutes. So that probably scares away some mainstream radio stations from playing a song that
Yeah.
long.
Yeah. Billy Joel has a great line in that song, "The Entertainer." I'm sure you've heard it.
Yeah,
Folks out there heard it.
yeah,
And I'm not going to know the exact lyrics, but it's basically he wrote a song, took all his life, but you got to have a hit. When you want to have a hit, you got to make it quick. So they cut it down to
right.
305. So
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you got it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
well, there's this band that I love. They're called Gunshine, right? And they have a song that is awesome, and it's like 8 minutes. And I was talking to the lead guy in the band, the founder of the band. I was like, why don't you just make that like 3:30, put out a hit. It'll be a hit. Just put not. He's like, I can't do it. It's the art. It's the art. It has to stay where it is. I'm
Yeah,
not cutting it down. I was like, all right, that's
yeah.
cool. I can appreciate it.
We
I'm a
actually
writer.
cut down. Yeah, we actually cut off a couple minutes on one of the songs. I think "Funk All Night" or one of those that really went on forever. But we try to cut it down and make it more appealing. But with "Who's Got My Lighter," I mean, we've got like some guest horn players on there, John Mundy and Michael Profundo, that just did an amazing job. So, and everybody's jamming out on it. There's a couple guitar solos and a keyboard solo and everything, and then the lyrics are pretty long on their own. So it's like, where do you cut it? But
Yeah.
I think they did make a 6.5 minute version for some of the radio stations, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
it's
that's where the
tricky.
AOR comes in.
Yeah, we
For
just
anybody who
love
doesn't know
jamming.
AORs.
We just love to jam, it's hard to
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, cutting things down. Like, I'm a writer, and I have like a word limit for somebody I work for, and like I'll write like 1,200 words and got to cut like a quarter of it. I'm like,
Yeah, I don't know.
It'll
I
be a
mean,
blog.
I see that with authors, when they go to the editor, they're like, you got to cut this down to, whatever. Like you said, it's like, I don't know how you do that.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty tricky,
Yeah.
I guess you have to
I
cut
have
some things out.
I have one book out. Shameless, shame. There it is, right there. Proposition
Oh, wow.
13. It's about taxes. So I wrote the book. From the standpoint of like you're talking about the proposition and all the tax implications, and put in like a lot of personal information to make it more personable. The
Right.
editor, the publisher is like, the editor is like, yeah, we're taking that part out, the personal stuff.
Uh,
And I was in a
But that
situation. I was
probably
in academia.
that
And I
probably
was in
made
a
it more
situation.
relatable to some people, though, don't you think? Like the personal
So
side, I would think, because
yes, I thought so. And
those damn editors.
yeah, I know, right? And there was a situation where I was in academia real quick, and like I needed to have something published, to help keep my job
Yeah,
published or perish. So I wasn't arguing the point. I'm like, all right,
yeah,
you just need to get published.
right.
So,
I hear you.
yeah, I'm working on
Yeah,
another one.
I got a lot of I get a lot of my ideas for songs and stuff because I listen to audiobooks all day at work, like every day, and I
Right.
consume books like crazy, so
Oh, cool.
that's always inspiring me to write different things and think about things in different ways, so
Oh yeah, you got to keep learning because that stuff definitely, all of a sudden you incorporate that, and then like something maybe even like 2 or 3 years ago that you read pops up, and it's like, oh yeah, great, this is the way I want to go with the song. Something that you read before. I'm reading Kenny
right.
G's right now. Kenny G's
Oh, wow.
book. Yeah, really good. He's a great guy. He's funny in the book, and I had the pleasure of interviewing him last year for his holiday, and he
Nice.
loves jokes. Yeah, he loves jokes. So I was like, not on here. This is for publication, and I was like, so Kenny, you got to tell me, like, what's your favorite joke? He goes, I can't tell you that. You can't even print it. I said, you know what? That's going in the paper, and it didn't get edited. It was actually and it was a newspaper down here called Florida Weekly. I was like, that's perfect. That's the perfect answer.
That's cool. Does he live down in Florida?
I don't think so. No, and he was calling from the road. No, he doesn't.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't live down here. Yeah, he was calling somewhere, like up in the upper Midwest before they came down here. So speaking about the road, what's going on with you guys for 2026? You guys hitting the road at any point?
Yeah, sometime this spring. Our first confirmed show right now is in May, but we'll have some shows coming up before that, probably in March and April. Working on all that right now, but
Okay.
yeah, we're gonna have a lot of shows coming up this year. Definitely all over Connecticut, but we're hoping to branch out more to surrounding states, and if we could possibly work it out logistically, we'd love to tour West Coast, Colorado area. The album did really great in like Oregon and California and Colorado, like Denver and Boulder and everything. So if we could try to work it out, I mean, it's really hard because I have some friends bands from Connecticut, like Creamery Station, that have been touring around, but it's really hard to pay for everyone to be on the road, and it's super expensive. You end up kind of like spending money rather than making money, which is tough. So not only do you not
Yeah.
make money from being at work, but then you kind of lose money being on the road as a band too. So it's tough, and everyone's got to eat and stay somewhere. So
Right. Yeah, that is kind of hard. Is there any possibility of like I know like Bird Pipe at one point where just they have a van and they'll just jump into a van together and go do their tour, and let's just say they got 15 shows. They're from Michigan, I'm sure, and let's say 15 shows on the upper East Coast, like in your area, like the New England, New York metropolitan area. They just hop in the
right.
van, go over there, and just drive around and hit all the shows. Is there anything like that you guys could possibly?
We'd love to do it. Yeah, it's just for me, it's the hard part has been like, kind of like getting all those venues in line so that you can do
Yeah,
that. In a
yeah.
continuous 2 or 3 week thing. They'll be like, "Oh, we got a date in August, another place got a date in June, and so forth." So I don't really know how bands do that, but it's pretty tricky.
No, I know. I know some of them use like Planet Fitness. They'll just like go to, for their shower. It's, they have memberships with Planet Fitness in the country. They have that membership that can get you into anyone, is what I mean. And they'll just
Right,
use
right.
that because they got it for 10 months, or maybe it's 15 now. You
Oh
can,
yeah,
you can get a shower, you can brush it, you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and they're open 24/7. You can literally sleep in your car if you want to, and then just run over there and shower and get your workout
Right,
in
right.
and hit the next go to the sound check.
I did plenty of sleeping in my trucks or cars on Grateful Dead tour back in the day, but I
Look
don't
at
know. I'm
that. Yeah.
57 now. It doesn't sound so appealing. But
I know what you mean, right?
I would
Exactly.
still do it though
Um,
for the right thing. But
yeah. So you think so you have this broad kind of spectrum of influences. Let's do a few quick questions here. Who do you think is the greatest guitar player of all time?
I mean, I gotta give that to Jerry Garcia. He's just
Okay.
really incredible guitar player, and I think he's one of the hardest guitar players to mimic, even though there are a ton of Grateful Dead bands in Connecticut that do a pretty good job of it. But he's
Uh-huh.
like, I have a easier time of like playing like Steven Stills or Eric Clapton's things because it's more in my
Hmm.
wheelhouse. I have to think differently. Jerry approached it from like a banjo player's perspective initially, and
Yeah.
even the chords that Bob Weir writes are like super jazzy and kind of weird chords. They're off my scale a little bit, but so it's been hard doing that. But I also love John Cipollina from Quicksilver Messenger Service.
Okay.
Another great Bay Area band player. He was just a rock god. Unfortunately, died young at 1988 of emphysema, but I got to see him a bunch of times in the early mid 80s, and with this band Zero, just amazing talent. And Steve Kimmock from his other guitar player from Zero kind of carried on with it. He's a great guitar player. But I love so many different guitar players that I listen to. A lot of different influences, from the guys that played in the blues bands with like Muddy Water, like Luther Dickinson, to
Mm.
all the, Ozzy's guitar, Randy Rhoads. I mean, God, just phenomenal guitar players, but kind of different approach to playing than I have. They more from a classical standpoint, like Tony Iommi.
Hmm. All right. So we're
Um,
going from guitar players to singers. Who's your greatest all time singer?
Whew, that's tough. Geez, I don't know. I'd have to say like probably David Crosby and Stephen Stills or some. I mean, their vocals, Crosby, Stills, and Nash and Young vocals were pretty amazing. Um, I mean, back on the metal thing, I mean, Ozzy and Dio were incredible. Ian Gillan from Deep Purple, those are some really powerhouse singers. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, my when I was in the studio, that's one thing I'm really self-conscious about is singing. I mean, it's not, I have to really work at singing. It doesn't
Mm.
come totally natural to me. I've gotten much better over the years because I'm more used to just going out in front of crowds now and singing. But my producer in the studio would be like, all right, you guys are a jam band. You don't have to sound like Mariah Carey or Luther Vandross. He's like, just do your thing, you know? I was like listening to all these, watching these YouTube things, you know, about voice, doing different things to help your voice and everything. Pretty much all that was a bunch of crap, you know. I threw it out the window after about 2 days in the studio. Yeah. They like drink tea and do this, you know, and like the tea was giving me wicked cotton mouth and stuff and making me sing weird and stuff. So I found for me the best thing is like water and a lot of bong hits. It seems to help me sing the best.
There you go. Whatever works, man. It's I'm all for it. Absolutely. Yeah, you know, it's funny because one of the kind of things in writing is you know, not following the rules. Like you were saying, all that stuff you read, the how-tos, and it's like a lot of people who get commended in writing and probably in music too, who broke the rules. So like, why do you even bother learning them? Just do it. Just do what's best for you. If it's getting high and getting high. I forgot the other part. Water and getting high. Is that
drinking
what you said?
water? Yeah, and just smoking.
Yeah, drinking water. Yeah, I mean, if that's your pregame ritual, that's great. You know,
right?
It's all about what's good for you. Yeah, exactly. Yep, 100%. Yep. Yeah, that's cool. All right, so you know what? Let's listen to it a little. I think we were talking beforehand. This is from your first album, right? The song that is titled "Long Slow Roast." That's from the first album.
Yes.
Okay, and what's the name of the song? What's the name of the album? Open Road Ahead.
Open Road Ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so make sure I had that right. Okay, cool. So let's. I'm gonna. You know what I'm gonna do is bring that one up. I got a cool part in the song where you're starting to do some jam in there. So let's let me just do this. And here it is. And we'll listen to this for like a minute or two here. Give people an idea what you guys are all about.
All right.
So let's see if you put that up there. And here we go. So you had a couple bong hits right there.
Oh yeah.
Got you through that one.
Yep. I pretty much bring my bong everywhere with me.
That's cool stuff, man. That sounds great. Where can people find that?
Thank you. On our Facebook page, Jeff Summa and the Roasters, Instagram, and our website, jeffsummaandtheroasters.com. Could check us out and see where we have upcoming shows and both our albums are on every streaming site everywhere. So check them out. Spotify, Apple, YouTube, Pandora, wherever you get your music, we're there.
And there it is, folks, going across the bottom of the screen, the URL for the website. How did you come up with the name of the band?
Well, it was kind of like inspired by the band The Radiators. So I thought they always kind of personified their name, you know, there's the way they play their music and stuff. And it was just a play on words between us roasting up the tunes and getting roasted also on cannabis. So something different that wasn't used by everybody else too. So
yeah, I'm telling you, a couple of times I'm like, I would slow myself down. And I go, the name of the band is Jef Summa and the Roasters, not Roosters. You can't say Roosters.
Right.
I can spell it out. And I'm like, so yeah, it's cool. It's an awesome name, and I love the vibe. I love the, I love like the color palette. has like that 70s feel to it, but it still has an aesthetic of like 2026. You know what I mean? Like the aesthetic still,
Right.
but like the actual, yeah. So that works really well. And is there anything working as far as I saw you touring? You said I think March is when the first show is of this year.
Yeah, our first confirmed show right now is in May, but we will be hitting the
Oh man,
road
I'm sorry.
locally around March or April. Yeah, we're still just
Oh,
ironing
okay.
out the
All right.
dates on some of those shows. But
And
yeah, we got a lot of shows booked for the summer already, so it should be good.
that's awesome. And how about new music?
Um, I've already written a few songs, but it'll be a while before I go back into the studio. It's quite an expensive process, not just the recording of the album, but then like I hired a major promotion company that handles jam bands and Americana music called Powderfinger Promotions, and you need them to really get you out into the world to get you. I mean, like these FM stations, they'll get like hundreds of CDs and streaming stuff a week or a month or whatever, and a lot of it just goes into garbage. So you
Right.
really need a an entrance where they see it comes from Powderfinger Promotions and from Horizon Studios where we recorded. It's kind of like an entrance into the door, and then you get radio plays that way. And if you want to chart at all, you need a lot of radio stations playing your music all at one time, because even one that it all goes by a spin count. So even one spin could put you on a chart or knock you down 100 points on a chart or whatever. So it's important to get out, to like on the first album, I couldn't afford to do any of that promotion stuff. So I just kind of was like throwing darts at the dartboards. I did some research on what radio stations kind of played our kind of music and sent them out. But this was a much more organized, concerted effort. So we sent everything out. It had a release date on it when the radio stations to start playing it. So, and now I have another agent that's helping me shop around to get our music onto TV shows, movies, video games, stuff like that. And then Christina, that hooked me up with you for this interview, she's working on my promotions for getting me interviews and getting me airplay on different streaming sites, podcasts, and all kinds of other avenues besides FM music, FM stations. So it's pretty
Well,
tricky,
now,
especially with our long songs.
yeah, yeah. So that's a good thing because probably a lot of some folks are probably thinking like they may have never heard of jam band or been able to define it. So what's the definition of what a jam band actually is?
That's a good question. Just a lot of playing, I guess, a lot of jamming, more music, more improv music stuff, even though it's like coordinated improv or not just playing off, like willy-nilly. But uh I guess that would be the definition. I mean, bands that fall into that category now are like Fish and Goose, Pigeons Playing Ping
Mhm.
Pong, those kind of bands. So that's kind of the circuit we're in now. Even bands like Government Mule and stuff are kind of fall into the jam band category.
Okay.
But uh, getting onto Relics magazine, was a big thing, and getting onto their website and on their charts was big for us. So, will any of that equal more shows or money? I don't know. We'll see, but at least we're kind
Well,
of on the map now.
I have a big Florida audience, so now everybody in Florida, everybody watching tonight, or in the next few days when you watch this video, you gotta go and buy Jeff Summa and the Roasters. I almost said it, Jeff Summa and the Roasters records, because we're gonna get you guys down here.
Right? Yeah. Any Florida places that would like to have us, we'd love to come down.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Have you ever been down here before in or anything like that down in this area?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
I've been down a lot. And then when I was a kid, my grandparents had a place in Fort Lauderdale, so we used to go down, spend a few weeks every winter, kind of like the snowbird thing. And then uh, over the years, I've been there many times. Old St. Augustine. My brother lived in Jacksonville for a while, so
nice.
Yeah,
Those
yeah.
are the places we go.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna see some. I'm gonna see some family in Fort Lauderdale. So this is a great location, but because you're not that far from anything really. I'm gonna see some family in Fort Lauderdale in like 2 weeks.
Right.
Donna and I were just in Jacksonville to see a performance of Shen Yun, and which was outstanding. And St. Augustine, we're in. We're going to be there in March. We're going to go see Tesla is touring with
Oh,
Bret
nice.
Michaels.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
This
So
was a great band.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, one of my all-time favorites. Yeah, I love them.
Oh yeah. Yep.
they,
They were
they,
kind of like, to me, like
yes,
a crossover band between, kind of like hippie rockers or whatever. But yeah, I like their music. It's
yeah,
good stuff.
yeah,
They're really
yeah.
talented.
Very good, and absolutely, and still putting out good music. Like a lot of bands, as the years go by, you can kind of tell they kind of get stale. I mean, as much as I love Kiss, their last three albums in studio, one, you can get one good album out of those final three. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, for sure.
Tesla Tesla just keeps on putting out good music, and it's really a Buck Cherry too. Actually, I'm thinking about them. It's really a testament that you can still do that sort of thing. But yeah, they're great live, great lyrics. Some of the lyrics are pretty heavy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I really like what they're all about. Yeah, and Bret Michaels. I
Right.
mean, I'm sure he does a lot of Poison, and I've been listening to some of his stuff outside of the band Poison, and it's really really good.
Right.
Alrighty, is there anything that we haven't hit that you want to make sure all the viewers know about?
Well, I just like to thank you and everyone else that supports independent artists and original music, because it's tricky these days. I mean, I harp on this a lot, but there's a lot of venues and places now that just want tribute bands, which is great. Not knocking tribute bands, but it does make it hard for original artists to get out and get in front of people. And there's some, like, even here in Connecticut, I mean, there's so many great original bands, that are out trying to grind it and get an audience and build up a following and stuff. So we really appreciate people like you that help expose music to other new listeners. So thank you. Really appreciate that.
Oh, thanks for coming. Yeah, thanks for coming on. I love talking to you. It's been a great conversation. And folks, if it's tonight and what we got coming up this week, the stuff I mentioned at the beginning of the show, we have our new show tomorrow night. The news panel is back with Michael Vasquez and Joe Hanush. And later in the week, I have an author coming on and two people who are running for local political positions here in the state of Florida. So we cover a vast array of topics, whether it's a writer, musicians, and news. So if you like that kind of stuff, please like, comment, and share. If you care, you will like, comment, and share. And don't forget to subscribe, because then you become part of the tribe. Folks, this has been a great evening of talking music. I love it. Jeff, thanks for coming on. And I just want to say thanks for being here tonight. Everybody out there watching, I don't know where in the world you are or what time it is in your neck of the woods, but no matter the time, I hope you had a good time this time. Until next time, we will see you.
Show is over, close the storybook. There will be no encore. And all the random hands that I have shook, well, they're reaching for the door.